greatest fighter of the 1980s, a champion across 5 weight classes, and the ultimate victor in the epic saga of boxing's Four Kings. Nicknamed Sugar for his refined technique and lightning-fast speed, Ray Leonard became the savior of boxing, filling the void left by Muhammad Ali's retirement. In a series of legendary battles, he dismantled top champions with ease. His ferocious instincts cemented his legacy as a relentless action hero in the ring. Today, we're diving into Ray Leonard's thunderous knockouts that earned him his reputation as a flawless boxer. Born in the spring of 1956, Ray Leonard was named after the legendary blind singer Ray Charles, with hopes he'd shine in showbiz. But the boxing world was ruled by Ray Robinson, widely regarded as the greatest boxer ever, and at 13, Leonard chose to follow in his namesake's footsteps, honing his fists. By 16, fibbing about his age, he was dominating international tournaments against grown men. The U.S. Olympic team predicted he'd slice through pros like butter. It was around then that he earned the nickname Sugar from someone who said, "Kid, you're sweet as sugar," a nod to his polished technique. Leonard lived up to the hype at the 1976 Montreal Olympics, captaining the U.S. team and breezing to the final. There, he faced Andreas Aldama, a knockout machine. But Leonard proved he was in a league of his own, rocking Aldama late and winning gold decisively. With an amateur record of 145-5, including 75 stoppages, he planned to hang up his gloves and head to college. "That was my last fight. I achieved my dream and now I'm off to college," Leonard said. But fate had other plans. Both of his parents fell ill and couldn't work, leaving him to support a young son. So, at 20, strapped for cash, Sugar Ray stepped into the pro ring in February 1977. He brought with him a devastating right hand and a loaded left hook from his amateur days. For his pro debut, Leonard pocketed a jaw-dropping $40,000, a fortune for a rookie. He didn't hold back, unleashing lightning-fast combinations like he did in the amateurs. Mixing in body shots, Sugar Ray drained his opponent's energy, pushing them past the point of no return. In his corner was Angelo Dundee, the mastermind behind Muhammad Ali's rise, now set on making Leonard a champ. No easy fights. Dundee insisted Ray face only top-tier opponents to prep for a title shot. He fixed Leonard's habit of eating left hooks to land his own, but left untouched his wild, windmill-like flurries that secured most of his wins. Now, nearly indistinguishable from Ali in the ring, Ray leaned harder into the legend's footwork, amped up his showmanship, and mastered the art of feints. At 5'10", he also perfected a spearing jab. By his fourth pro fight, Dundee had turned Leonard into a counter-punching maestro. Veteran knockout artist Frank Santore ate a barrage of jabs and follow-up rights. Sugar Ray slipped into the role of a slick second-number fighter, floating like Ali, cutting angles and weaving away from attacks before unloading bombs. He mixed overhands with uppercuts, sending the tough Santore to the canvas 3 times. The fight's finish earned a spot in boxing's highlight reel. Unleashing his full arsenal and hammering his opponent into the canvas, Leonard proved his star potential. His parents and 3-year-old son were regular fixtures at his fights, motivating Ray, who was supporting his family, to keep racking up knockouts. Some sports critics weren't fans of boxing's golden boy, griping about his tendency to toy with opponents and questioning his punching power. But fans loved his drawn-out displays of skill. The chatter stopped in 1978, when Leonard faced Olympian Javier Muniz, who'd gone 30 fights without hitting the deck and even survived Roberto Duran. Sugar Ray shut down Muniz's attack with a left hook and sealed it with a right. Shaken, Muniz clung on in the corner, refusing to go down. Ray unleashed body shots, dialed in his signature jabs, and built combinations off them. Muniz's previously untouched chin couldn't handle the overload. A first-round knockout silenced the doubters, and Leonard was ready to chase a world title. Leonard's first world-class test was Floyd Mayweather Sr., who boasted a 15-1 record with 8 knockouts and was known for his Philly shell defense, a style his son, Floyd Jr., would later use to become a 15-time champ. In September 1978, a confident Ray let Mayweather take the lead early, reading him like a book while dancing in true Ali fashion. Once he cracked Floyd's defensive code, Sugar Ray targeted his body to lower his guard, then shifted to headshots. Mayweather tried to fire back with his family's signature counter right. By the third round, Mayweather's defense was crumbling, and he barely survived the bell. In the fourth, Leonard unleashed his left hook, making it harder for Floyd to stay upright than it would be for his son's future girlfriends. Looking to pace himself for a title shot, Ray toyed with Mayweather until the final rounds before getting serious. The patriarch of the famous family went down again, but with a minute left, the ref had seen enough. Decisively dismantling Floyd's Philly shell, Sugar Ray scored a breakout win, now taking on former champs with ease. By the summer of 1979, Ray had racked up 23 straight wins, 14 by knockout, earning a shot at the North American title in the 147-pound division. His opponent, Pete Renzani, with his cop-like mustache, didn't intimidate the challenger. Early on, a relaxed Sugar Ray toyed with Renzani. He peppered the champ with straight lefts, cleverly breaking down his defense with booming body shots, allowing pinpoint headshots to land clean. Renzani, true to form, stayed upright for a while. Renzani's gritty effort didn't change the inevitable. A barrage of combos dropped him, earning Sugar Ray a standing knockout and his first taste of championship gold. In a one-round title defense a month later, Leonard barely broke a sweat. "You said you want Duran, but first, you've got Benitez. No talk until after Benitez," they told Ray. As the saying goes, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Leonard took Wilfred Benitez seriously, and for good reason. The undefeated 21-year-old Puerto Rican, nicknamed El Radar for his airtight defense, became the youngest world champion in boxing history at 17 and would go on to conquer 3 weight classes. Benitez put his prestigious WBC title and a perfect 36-0 record with 23 knockouts on the line. Leonard fought from a low stance, firing jabs off a planted left leg. By the third round, he stunned the champ with counterpunches, landing a jab on the move that sent Benitez to the canvas. But as it turned out, that knockdown only woke him up. El Radar locked onto Leonard's timing and ramped up his offense. In the 6th, a head clash left Benitez with a cut, but it didn't stop the Puerto Rican wizard from winning rounds. By the 11th, Sugar Ray tasted defeat. On his trainer's orders, he unloaded a torrent of body shots and started catching and frustrated Benitez with reckless attacks. Then, Leonard went on the offensive, launching a missile that rocked Benitez, whose mouthpiece flew out. But Wilfred wasn't folding in this 15-round war, firing back sharply in spurts and hanging tough until the final round. In the break, Dundee laid it on thick. "Last round, turn up the heat. You've got to fight like a beast." Leonard jumped into an all-out slugfest, and Benitez was game. They traded blows until one chin gave out. A left hook left Benitez dazed, and the ref stopped it as Ray finished him off. The 45-minute clash of technicians crowned 23-year-old Ray the world champion. With a stoppage just 6 seconds from the final bell, he was named Fighter of the Year. Splitting over $2 million, the fighters set a purse record for non-heavyweights and elevated the prestige of lighter divisions. Overnight, Leonard became a superstar. Unlike Ali, He carried no controversial baggage and wasn't hobnobbing with the elite. While waiting for Duran, Ray defended his title against a European champ, sharpening his left hook. He unleashed flurries and delivered his best knockout yet, leaving the Brit out cold. In the summer of 1980, Sugar Ray returned to the same Canadian stadium, where he'd won Olympic gold. Across the ring stood Roberto Duran, the former lightweight king with 12 title defenses and a top ranking across all weight classes. With an 8-year win streak, a 71-1 record, and 56 knockouts, he lived up to his fearsome nickname, Hands of Stone. Before the fight, Duran taunted Leonard relentlessly. Boring pedigree wasn't Ray's style, so he ditched the plan to move and boldly met Duran head-on. While probing Ray's reactions to left-hand feints, Duran struck in the second round, landing a jab followed by a hook that had Leonard stumbling like he was breakdancing. A rattled Sugar Ray retreated to the ropes, spending the next few rounds under a relentless barrage from Duran. Even when he escaped to the center, he couldn't land his jab and caught a heavy right in return. By the fifth round, a bit of magic kicked in, and Leonard started winning moments in the clinch. Reloading his arsenal, Ray fired off big shots in the move and mixed up his attacks. The Panamanian wrecking ball started to slow, but he kept swinging. The symphony of violence hit ever higher notes. At the fight's peak, the 50,000-strong crowd saw that Duran's Hands of Stone came with an iron chin. Sugar Ray held up under punishment and fired back fiercely, but the relentless Duran kept coming. He even landed precise counters, seemingly thriving on the pain. In the 12th, Leonard targeted Duran's body, trying to slow the Panamanian freight train, but it barreled on. In the 13th, massive right-hand exchanges, left-hook trades, and a grinder of a slugfest saw Sugar Ray briefly seize control. Desperate to sway the judges, Leonard baited with a left and landed a bolo punch. Duran ate the flashy uppercut like it was candy and fired back with both hands. By the 15th, Ray's anger was gone, replaced by a burning will to win. Duran, cocky as ever, cruised to the bell. He nearly got caught late, but smirked his way to victory, as if showing Ray where to aim next time. The battle for welterweight supremacy went the full distance, etched in history as the Montreal Massacre. Duran was declared the winner, and Sugar Ray nearly retired again. "Duran taught me how much psychology matters in a fight," Ray said. "He busted my eardrum. It hurt worse than his punches. That night I thought, I can't do this anymore. But then I decided, let's run it back, earning a record-breaking $10 million to Duran's $1.5 million. Leonard would have the last laugh, banking on his name and his son's future. Returning home as a national hero, Ray hit the club scene hard, proving he could drop more than just jaws. Crowds of women fell for him too. Meanwhile, his bathroom scale begged for mercy. For the rematch, 5 months later, he had to shed over 20 kilos. Ray Charles himself hyped up the massive crowd, and Leonard telling him, "Go kick his ass." No kidding, he said it just like that. So Sugar Ray hopped on a well-oiled bike, slipping Duran's dives with body shots and tagging his stationary head. Roberto tried burning energy at the ropes, but Ray fought back. Then Leonard targeted the body in clinches. Duran, to his detriment, backed off to long range. Like he was in his element, Ray shone in the corner and showboated in open space, mixing punches with outright taunting. He dominated completely. Those eyes that once devoured opponents now looked lost. Duran was ready to fight for his life, but not his pride. The Panamanian Macho Man, a national hero with hands of stone, shockingly quit in the 8th round, blaming stomach cramps from the weight cut. "In Montreal, I could have blamed arthritis or hemorrhoids," Ray quipped. "But I didn't have arthritis, and he had a stomachache." Later, it came out that Duran never said no mass, meaning no more. But the phrase commentators pinned on him tanked his reputation for years, splitting $15 million with Duran and reclaiming the title. Sugar Ray scored the first win in the epic rivalries of boxing's Four Kings, which included his future foes, Thomas Hearns and Marvin Hagler. In 1981, Ray defended against Larry Bonds without breaking a sweat. He stung the tricky southpaw with jabs, landed flurries of hooks, and connected with a lightning-fast right, holding nothing back. By the 4th round, Bonds had no butterflies left in his stomach. Leonard threw ladder-like combos, and Larry didn't know what hit him. Scoring a knockdown, Sugar Ray thrilled his son and fired up the crowd during the break. Ray then switched levels, flaunted textbook head movement, and floated around the ring. But Dundee wanted a different Leonard. "Stop boxing him. Fight. Throw combos with both hands and make it a war." Sugar Ray listened, and by the 9th, Bonds was trapped in a siege. Larry hung tough and even fought back, but in the 10th, he got under Ray's skin. The champ taunted, dropping his hands and swinging from the hip until Bonds hit the canvas. The 30-minute demolition of Bonds was deliberate prep for another unbeaten southpaw, Ayub Kalule, who held the title in the 154-pound division. Ray didn't like the Ugandan's ruthless style. He started by picking shots from range, but Kalule, used to tougher stuff in his native savannah, wouldn't go down. Scratching his head, Leonard, as he often did, threw caution to the wind and went all in. In the explosive brawl, the poor Ugandan stood no chance. In his 31st fight, 25-year-old Leonard claimed the throne of a second weight class. That same night, 22-year-old Tommy Hearns defended his WBA welterweight belt, setting the stage for an inevitable unification showdown. The September clash for the undisputed welterweight crown was dubbed the Showdown in Vegas. Hearns stayed cool early, showing off slick boxing with a rapier-like jab to all levels. Leonard narrowly dodged his nuclear rights, trying to rattle the hitman by eating a post-bell shot and showboating back. It worked. Tommy got emotional and got caught. Ray faked, landed a pulled-back shot, and followed with a stepping left hook. Hearns snarled, returned fire, and kept targeting body and head from long range. In the 3rd, Sugar Ray bounced with double jabs, striking with a feint. Ray tried to take control, but Hearns landed a crushing right. Burning energy like a furnace, Tommy seized the lead for a few rounds. Ray landed left hooks but couldn't get his usual impact. The hitman, now in his groove, mocked Leonard. Sugar Ray responded with a flurry of overhands, retreating afterward, but then lingered in a firefight. Even after eating an uppercut, Hearns fired back and rocked Ray. Leonard answered with a liver shot, forcing Tommy to desperately wait out the 6th. In the 7th, Ray rediscovered his jab, pounded the body, and let combos fly. It looked like you could start writing Hearns' obituary, but after the break, he came back dancing like Ali. While Ray hunted for headshots, burning out his tank, Tommy answered with occasional power shots and methodically wore Leonard down with constant body touches. With his left eye swelling shut, Leonard fought back. But by the 13th, Tommy surged ahead on points. Finally, Dundee got through to a battered Ray. 9 minutes left. You're losing, son. Losing. You've got to fight, Dundee said. Sugar Ray went to see whose right hand was bigger. Missing a 1-2, Hearns got lost in a blizzard of punches and tumbled out of the ring. Barely back on his feet, he demanded the fight continue. Ray was happy to oblige. The break before the 14th couldn't save Tommy from an overhand and a ref who stopped it, fearing for his health. The Vegas showdown exceeded all hype, earning Fight of the Year. The wild twists left fans as dizzy as the fighters. Leonard, now undisputed champ, took home $11 million and a win over the second of the Four Kings. Ray followed with a routine title defense, letting his opponent push him to the ropes just to showcase his famous rope-a-dope technique. Then, Sugar Ray casually went on the attack. The challenger begged for mercy, hitting the deck as his life flashed before him. Legendary ref Mills Lane called it quits. After another beatdown, Ray started eyeing Marvin Hagler, but a detached retina, worsened in 2 fights, threatened his vision, and Leonard chose to retire. We've got unfinished business, and it's time to cash in. People want this fight. Don't walk away until you face marvelous Marvin Hagler, they urged. Sadly, that fight wasn't meant to be. But after successful surgery, Ali's words haunted Leonard. If you come back, you can still be the greatest ever. Against doctor's orders, Sugar Ray returned after a 2-year break. Fired up, he tagged journeyman Kevin Howard with single shots, arms wide, having fun like the good old days, and confidently took the first 3 rounds. Howard fired back at the body, and in the 4th, caught Ray shifting left. Leonard kept circling casually, but Kevin timed a move and shockingly dropped him. Stunned in every sense, Sugar Ray fought back to close the round. At Dundee's urging, Leonard targeted the body. Each shot slowed Howard, turning him into a sitting duck. By the 9th, he was shown the exit. His chances of surviving were worse than playing Russian roulette with a fully loaded gun. Hitting the canvas for the first time, Ray, as always, bounced back. But true to form, he announced another retirement. Still, in 1986, Ray and trainer Martin High watched Marvin Hagler fight. Seeing the most underrated of the Four Kings dominate, Sugar Ray wished he could turn back time. The reigning middleweight kingpin delivered another slaughter, barely finishing his challenger late. Jealous, Leonard dusted off his gloves and hit the gym. By their 1987 showdown, Hagler, the undisputed champ, had ruled the 160-pound division for 7 years, defending his title 12 times with 11 stunning knockouts. A rare ambidextrous fighter, he could knock you out from either stance. During his reign, Hagler beat Duran in a classic war, both fighters wearing out their gloves and testing each other's chins as expected. Against Hearns, Hagler's one-punch power produced the most thrilling round in boxing history, packed with more plot twists than a soap opera like Santa Barbara. The dramatic finish cemented his nickname, Marvelous. Hagler was the favorite against Sugar Ray, holding the top pound-for-pound ranking and earning $20 million to Leonard's $12 million. To top it off, Ray got floored hard in sparring 5 days before the fight. In the opening of their high-stakes clash, Hagler fought orthodox, cutting angles with body shots. Leonard countered, disrupting his rhythm with sudden counters and matching him with bodywork. When in doubt, Ray clinched, firing back fiercely on the break and easily taking the first 2 rounds. In the 3rd, Hagler switched to southpaw, jabbing to spook Leonard, who bit on feints and opened himself to cross-stance shots. Still, Sugar Ray owned the clinches. Waiting for embraces, Hagler paused, letting Ray unload. Leonard started showboating too soon, while Hagler fought back deliberately from clinches, slowly shifting the tide. Sticking to his plan, Ray confidently took most of the 5th round. Despite eating shots, Hagler picked up the pace, bringing chaos until Ray finally slipped up. In a scramble, Leonard failed to lock the clinch, and Hagler drilled an uppercut. Ray retreated, stuck fighting stationary in a bad spot, but his trusty rope-a-dope bailed him out. In the middle rounds, Hagler kept pressing. Ray reverted to his early game plan, outworking Marvin in exchanges, shamelessly holding and unloading waves of counters. Facing danger, Leonard channeled Ali's vibe. Hagler focused on the body, stealing moments with shots upstairs. The 9th round proved history repeats itself. Hagler lost the first minute, then landed a pinpoint shot that shifted momentum. Caught standing still, Ray ate across and spent 30 seconds reeling under a meteor shower of punches. Miraculously staying upright, he fought back, and how. Hagler slyly switched stances and countered with a hook. Feeding the crowd's growing frenzy, they slugged it out old school for another minute. The bell saved the exhausted ring warriors. Who knows what rang in their heads during the break, but at the start of the 10th, Leonard looked like he regretted coming back. But he was just resting his legs. Once again, Ray took control, regaining his signature bounce and stealing the round's end. In the penultimate round, he kept trapping Hagler on the fly, heading into the final round certain of victory. Marvin reluctantly touched gloves, trying to defy the prediction. Unfortunately for him, one combo sealed it. Unleashing an 18-punch flurry, Leonard danced under the crowd's cheers. Hagler bled points until the end, and even pinning Ray to the ropes, he couldn't land the knockout he needed. With recent rule changes, the fight lasted 12 rounds, with the fighters throwing 1,500 punches, 600 landing without a single knockdown. The judges would decide, and both men believed they'd won. Hagler even danced a bit, but the close split decision went to Leonard. Marvin protested the call and, at 32, retired from boxing, one of the few never to return. Kissed by his wife, Ray stayed upbeat. The fight, still debated today, was named Fight of the Year and Upset of the Decade, earning Sugar Ray the pound-for-pound crown. Chasing more hardware, Leonard fought Donnie Lalonde in 1988 for super middleweight and light heavyweight belts. Much shorter, Ray had to explode from range, but couldn't shake Lalonde. Donnie, meanwhile, closed distance and unloaded in clinches. Lalonde used his size advantage, landing a crushing overhand in the 4th. Ray couldn't block the shot to his temple due to Donnie's height, but nobody survived like Leonard. During the break, he assessed the damage, then sapped Lalonde's wind, and took over exchanges with his lead left hook. The fading Lalonde ate jabs, and Ray's right made the fight look like target practice. Leonard didn't rush things. Late in the 8th, they traded shots. In the 9th, Lalonde got lucky and launched a desperate assault. But Sugar Ray did what only champs do. Lalonde rose on autopilot, but his collapse was inevitable. Hitting the canvas a second time, Lalonde got knocked out so hard, his great-grandkids would feel it. With 2 new belts, Ray became the second fighter to win titles in 5 weight classes, just 3 days behind Hearns, who'd also buried Duran. It was the perfect setup for their 1989 unification rematch. The clash of seasoned vets was billed as a war. "I've been in Ray's shadow my whole career. I'd trade all my titles for a win over him," Hearns said. No machines rose from nuclear ashes here. By then, Leonard had split with Dundee over money issues and uncharacteristically tried to bully his way through. The hitman just smiled, distracting with body jabs while loading up his right. In the 3rd, Hearns dialed in his big gun and fired a massive shot, only to eat a counter. Ray decided the canvas was safer. After the knockdown, things stayed chaotic for both. Post-break, Sugar Ray outdid Hearns in jab exchanges. Ray broke through close range with flurries, and the Warriors thrilled the crowd with fierce mid-range exchanges. In the fifth, Leonard paid Hearns back, landing a 1-2 and a left hook that staggered Tommy. Hoping to finish, Ray held the trigger down until the round ended. But by the end, Ray had emptied his clip. Working from range, Hearns evened things up at the fight's midpoint and got revenge. Catching Ray with a looping hook after a jab, Tommy went for the kill. Sugar Ray refused to quit. As Hearns' lungs burned, Leonard tested his armor with body shots and moved upstairs. But Tommy was from a tougher era, when men didn't shave their armpits. The mental chess match raged on. In championship rounds, they went toe-to-toe, trading heavy blows. But Ray took the 10th with his jab and tight combos. Duran, commentating the fight, wasn't impressed, so Hearns gave him a show. Measuring range, Tommy stunned Sugar Ray with 3 right hands. Still, Ray's clear eyes showed he wasn't going anywhere. Neither planned to back down, living by the motto, the best defense is offense. But Leonard, trailing on points, needed a knockout. In the final moments, Ray unleashed a tornado of punches, even bending the rules in his last-ditch sprint. Once again, the old guard delivered for fans, splitting $25 million in purses. Given Hearns' knockdowns and the close fight, Tommy was sure he'd won. Officially, it ended in a draw. They'd never meet again. And later, Leonard admitted defeat. "I want to be remembered as the fighter who became champ by beating Hagler, Duran, and Tommy Hearns," he said. "Who'd you beat? I crushed you," Hearns shot back. "But in the second fight, Tommy won. I give him credit," Ray conceded. Meanwhile, in their 1989 rematch year, a burger-loving Duran pulled off the upset of the year, beating monstrous middleweight champ Iran Barkley, who'd knocked out Hearns the year before. Boxing's tangled math led to a December trilogy with Duran. Roberto was haunted by his hands of stone surrender and felt shortchanged. "He didn't pay me for the first fight," he said. "Duran, you're one of the 4 kings." I said, "Twos, pay up." He's like, "What money?" And gave me peanuts, Duran griped. The deciding match, dubbed Uno Mas, meaning one more, nodded to their second bout. This time, Duran got $8 million to raise $13 million, and didn't complain. In the first half, 33-year-old Sugar Ray calmly kept distance with non-stop jabs, occasionally exploding with counters. Despite Duran's dogged efforts, he couldn't close the gap. A headbutt was Duran's best shot for a while. In the 6th, Leonard cranked up the pace. Smirking, he landed a cross, shuffled, and spun an uppercut, forcing the Panamanian tough guy into a shell. Rattling Duran in classic style, Sugar Ray dominated one-sidedly into the championship rounds. By the 11th round, 38-year-old Duran's only feat was staying on his feet. He finally landed a shot, cutting Ray's eyelid. But the Panamanian couldn't capitalize, and Sugar Ray, full of swagger, danced to the bell. The judges gave Leonard a clear victory, though he left the ring with battle scars needing over 60 stitches. This clash closed the era of the 4 kings, who fought 9 epic battles in the 80s. Ray competed in 6, winning 5, cementing him as the ultimate victor of this boxing saga. Old habits die hard, and at 40, Sugar Ray made a couple of comebacks in the 90s, driven by an ego tougher than his chin. He prefers not to dwell on those fights. Leonard hung up his gloves for good in 1997 with a record of 36 wins, 25 knockouts, 3 losses, and 1 draw. "You know me. I meant to retire on time, but it didn't work out," he said. The first boxer to break the $100 million purse barrier, Ray multiplied his wealth in retirement, building a diverse portfolio. In the 90s, he worked as a commentator and popped up in hit TV shows. Today, the 67-year-old Hall of Famer is still in great shape and sharp as ever, spending time with family, catching up with old fight game buddies, and making TV appearances. "Ray, when's the last time you screamed so loud it hurt your ears?" "In the bedroom," he quipped. In his downtime, Ray choreographs fight scenes for Hollywood blockbusters, earns millions from endorsements, and happily serves as a celebrity judge. In boxing history, Leonard stands as the heir to Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali, the only fighter to defeat all members of the Golden Four Kings of the 80s, elevating the prestige of lighter weight classes to new heights. And who could forget his epic comeback saga that made him a legend? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. See you next time.